Welcome everybody to episode 3 of the Lure Fishing Podcast. We are in Holland, somewhere near Rotterdam. I'm going to butcher the name, so I'm not even going to try and say it. I'll probably say it in a few minutes' time, as you see as we progress through the week. So what am I doing here? Well, myself and Dan Brackley, we won the World Predator Classic England qualifier last year, which gave us free entry into the Netherlands event. So we are here. It's now Tuesday. We've been here since Saturday afternoon, so we've been practicing hard for 2.5 days, and the practice has been a little bit tricky to say the least. It's a massive body of water, as you can imagine. I have no knowledge of it at all. Dan's fished around here on the Predator Tour a few times, and I think he's fished a WPC quite a few years ago. So his knowledge is better than mine, but it's still very limited. We've had pike, perch and zander. Each day we need 3 pike. No, that's a lie. We need 1 pike, 3 perch and 3 zander each day. So filling our card each day is going to be virtually impossible for us. We have, like I said, very limited knowledge of the water, but we're going to give it a go. We've got 3 days for the comp, Wednesday, Thursday and the Saturday. So I thought it'd be fun for something completely different to take you guys along with us on the journey of the week. So I'm not going to be filming on the boat doing the comp. As you can imagine, it'll be a bit helter-skelter. Hopefully going to show you a few things from behind the scenes.
This is me. And he told me the last weeks, or 1.5 month, there is so much water coming from the rivers that a lot of fish left the Haringvliet on 2 ways.
Yeah, we're just coming to one of the local tackle shops called The Catfish. The Catfish. And I've just spent a fortune. To be fair, I've bought baits that we've been using this week and have caught on, and the right colours, so I had my eye out for 1 or 2 specials that we needed. But yeah, you think I've got enough crap? No, I think I've just spent about 200 quid's worth in here as well. So candy store. So The Catfish, The Catfish. Great lure selection. So if you're ever in this part of Holland, which I'll pronounce later when I learn how to say it, you've got to come here. It's great. Free coffee as well. Not bad. This is a good idea. I saw one of these in Dan's boat and I thought I've got to get one of these. These are spinnerbait boxes. So you're not messing about trying to cram your spinnerbaits in boxes that aren't made for them. Can you guess what colour we're preferring over here? Yep, it's obviously the old Chartreuse is a good one. And I wanted some baits with copper blades as well. So that's what we've been doing. We've been going around finding things that work, or we think they're going to work, and trying to get the right weights that we need for chucking the right depth of water. And also there's something else in here which is a secret bait. Yeah, not quite sure where the hooks go, but I think I've got a use for it. So that's what we're doing. We're just going around buying up bits that we need for the competition that don't get used much in the UK because it's more of warmer weather summer bait fishing when you're using stuff like this. But very good in shallow weedy water. I lied, I didn't spend 200 euros, I spent 250 euros in The Catfish. So not content with that, we now come to a bigger lure shop called Hellevoetsluis. So we're going to go in here and spend some more money. Right, so we just had the briefing, but we were a bit late, for about 5 minutes. They started half an hour early, which I don't know what happened there. So we got the gist of most of it. So we know what we're doing for tomorrow. And this is it. So now it's the boat parade, and because we're rebels, we haven't got our boat down there either. So we might jump in someone else's, or I don't know, throw sweets from the sideline. We've got sweets to throw as well. So this is pretty cool. So I will video the boat parade, which we may be in it or not. Ah, Danny Schaefer. So we've stolen on Danny Schaefer's boat. And Danny is a far better looking version of the boat captain I've got. So it's win-win.
Hey, hey.
I think you will arrive. Yeah. Hallo, hallo. Hallo, hallo, hallo.
Das ist wegen mir, weil ich so fett bin. Jeder den sagt, das ist hier so Wasser.
Let's be friends, you go. I'm just happy that there is not too much wind and it's not raining. It's really good. Fishing, and it's gonna be so much fun. You happy wishing Yeah, give me. Exciting when you catch each one.
I think it's quite cute.
No, it is. No, I meant this.
Oh, they make the cannon, I hear nothing.
Yeah, they're
Didn't your hair go too? I thought that was a little too.
Yesterday?
fishing?
No, yesterday?
Yeah.
No, it was the day before.
I think they.
Such a nice view, really, I love a nice. Yesterday we cleaned the engine.
So cool. Make a heart.
My plan for this podcast was to give you a day-by-day rundown of what was happening. That hasn't happened. We're now filming this on the Saturday. Bear with me, I'll explain what's happened. Saturday should have been day 3 of the event. Day 2 of the event was on the Thursday, and Friday was going to be a rest day. But the weather has really set in, and you could probably hear in the background, it's absolutely blowing a hoolie. So we arrived last Saturday afternoon, practiced for a few hours on the Saturday, practiced Sunday, Monday, had all the rigmarole of registry on the Tuesday. Then we had the flag parade through the town, which was awesome. So that's when everyone got their boats out and was basically throwing water over everybody. The whole idea was to take the boats through the local river and throw candy at any child you saw standing on the bank. It's a Belgian and Dutch tradition, apparently, to try and hurt children with sweets. No, only joking. It's one of their traditions to actually throw sweets to people, give children sweets when you're celebrating these types of things. So that was really cool. We went to 2 local tackle shops, spent a fortune, and then day 1 started on the Wednesday. Now, this is one huge water, and we're competing against a lot of top European lure anglers who know the water really well. We had a major problem that Andy doesn't know the water at all, never been here at all, and Dan, when he fishes his Predator tour, and I think he's fished WPC once, has very limited time to come and practice beforehand because obviously he has to go to work. So our time on the water before the event was negligible. Our prior knowledge was limited to historical areas, and as we all know in angling, that's not the best thing to do a lot of the time because the fish will move. So day 1 we power fished. We caught pike and zander pretty quickly and pretty easily, but we could not locate perch, and that was our downfall. We couldn't feel the card, so on day 1 we fished a very lowly 83rd, I think it was. So we weren't disappointed. Well, I wasn't disappointed. It was frustrating because I just knew we could catch the perch if we could find them, but we only had 1 perch during practice, so we couldn't dial in exact locations. This is the cool thing. Even though everyone's very competitive, there's a lot of really nice people. You meet loads of different people that you kind of may have seen on socials. People recognise you from the same, and you get talking, and it's really lovely that a lot of people will help. They won't give you exact spots, but they definitely point you in the right direction. You would have seen from the flag parade that we got onto a different boat, and we were on a boat with Danny Schaefer and Gaia de Rita. I've said that completely wrong. But they were 2 ladies who were competing, and I think they must have felt sorry for us, and we definitely had a lot of info from them for day 2. They helped us with what was potentially a very good perch spot that they had perched from on day 1. So we kind of sidled up to their boat, I would say, probably 200 metres away at the beginning of day 2, kept a very respectful distance, and then waited for them to finish fishing the area, and then we moved in after. They were great. They phoned us up and even told us what colour lures they were catching on. So this area didn't produce any perch, but it produced pike and zander. So we quickly filled our pike and zander card from this stretch that the ladies put us onto. The colour lure that they suggested worked straight away, and it was the only colour that did work. So it just shows you how precise you have to be, even on these massive waters. If you don't get the colour right for that particular water clarity, that particular area, that moment in time when the fish are feeding on that particular tide or whatever it is, if you don't get it right, you could not catch. I mean, I had a Chartreuse bait on, and Dan had the going colour, and all these fish were coming on that one bait in that area, so it does show you how precise you need to be. So that was day 2. We didn't catch any perch, but we did fill our pike and zander card again, which again, before the event started, I knew we were going to struggle with the perch, and I just wanted us to be able to fill the pike and zander card. So we did that, and we were 60 something, I can't remember exactly where. So we were getting better day on day, so that was good. Wasn't too despondent, a bit frustrated with the lack of perch, but you know, it's one of those things. And then that was the Thursday, so Friday should have been the rest day, but the weather has got worse and worse and worse. And if you've been following the lives that I've done, you've just seen how windy it got. So Friday was used as day 3, so everybody was a bit tired from day 2. So day 3 we started, and again we had areas where we wanted to go, but the wind killed some of our spots, so we couldn't get onto there. But it's the same for everybody, so you just have to sort of have plan B, C, D, E and F. Some teams have even down to plan Z, and they knew exactly where to go so they could get out the wind. So we managed to get out the wind and find some areas, and again we had perch and pike and zander pretty quick, but not big pike, it's too small. But we were catching fish, so we were starting to fill the card. And then we were trying a new area. I had a perch, 41, so that lifted spirits straight away. Now let me go back to the night before. A friend from England sent me a perch spot that they have on this water, and we were actually working down towards this area that this guy had sent me about this spot. And I was so disorientated over the whole 3 days, didn't know where I was. As we got down to this area, Dan said to me, this is the spot that we got information about last night. And he had an icon that was very close to it as well. So we had a scout around, and we couldn't quite see the feature we were looking for, but we could see the odd fish on the light scope, so we stopped. And we just, again, changed techniques to techniques that we knew should work, and straight away I had a zander. Then I had a bang on this negative rig that I was using, and then I had a perch. So it was like, yes, this is great. And we stayed there, and Dan had a zander, and we had our 3rd perch. So we managed to fill the perch card, and of course we were elated. And we'd also filled the zander card as well. So at that point, by 12 o'clock, we'd filled the card on day 3. So the progress we were showing throughout the 3 days was immense, and we were in 20th place on day 3 at that point, and of course the spirits were high. So the one thing we needed to do was go and upgrade either the zander or the pike. We had a 66 or 63 centimetre pike, so we needed to upgrade that. So we just went pike fishing, and it was brutal. So windy. We just tried to drift over certain areas, and trying to control the boat is very difficult. Needless to say, we didn't catch any more pike, but we did get a zander upgrade, so that's pretty good. But we finished day 3 in 38th, I think, which was respectable. So overall, I think we came 63rd, something like that, or 64th, which was a little disappointing. But when you look at the field, we actually beat quite a few locals who are really good anglers. So we can't be too down on ourselves. Obviously, you come with higher expectations. Ideally, we'd like to be in the top 50. However, it is what it is, and all I can say is we learned loads, and the progress we showed day on day was fantastic. And we dialed in the techniques, the colours that we needed, the baits we needed real quick. And I'm going to show you some of the baits that we used, so bear with.
It's going to be a little bit noisy because I've got the weir behind me, but can't be asked to move anywhere else, so here we go. So today, talking about the Z-Man Gobius. It's the little pre-weighted, pre-rigged shad type bait. Do a non-pre-rigged one, just a standalone bait with the Gobi. I think it's the TRD Gobies, and very similar, a little bit smaller, but these are all your pre-rigged jobbies. This is the 3/8 ounce, so it's a little over 10 gram all in, and I think the internal weight's about a quarter of an ounce, which is 7 gram. Now, they're made out of the same Z-Man elastic material. If I can just get this one out of the clamshell, the packaging does reseal with a little tab thing here, so you can keep them in the tackle box with your baits and not have a gooey mess. So, clamshell pops open. You've got your bait here. This one's in the deal, so you can hold it in a way that's not obstructing. So you see you've got the nice big old paddle there, your usual elastic material, You've got the fin on top, which also acts as your somewhat a weed guard, but it is very soft, so how much weed guarding it does, who knows. And you've got your line tie at the front as you'd expect. Split down the middle of the fin, look, there's your hook down there. There's a nice hollow section in the middle, so there's plenty of room for the bait to get squished down out of the way of that hook. Nice quality sharp hook. Of course, float material, so when they're on the bottom, they're going to kind of sit up a bit like that with the tail wagging away. Got a lovely sink rate. They do like a, if you go fish with a tube, they do a similar sort of thing to a tube where they spiral on the way down with that tail kicking, excuse me. And it's like, you might think, I've seen something similar to that before, and yeah, they did get their inspiration from the old dark sleeper, Megabass dark sleeper. There's quite a few companies doing a version of this now, but they have the differences. Which one you prefer is up to you, but the dark sleeper is quite a bit smaller. It's quite a bit smaller, same sort of weight. It's got the bigger fin on the back to hide the hook. Still just as soft. So how much weed guarding it's doing, I don't really know, unless you could say it's hiding the hook and it's not guarding weed. So, and the big main difference is that's plaster soap, that's TPE. So any toothy buggers come along, that's going to hold up a lot more than that is. As soon as you lose the tail on that, it's done. Whereas, and also, these are about $12.99. These are $6.99. So you can get 2 of these for 1 of them. So there we go. Check them out. See how you do. I've just lost an absolute mammoth of a pike on one. Unfortunately, I was fishing for perch and it bit me off. So it happens. In a bit.
In practice for the pike, I was throwing things like this, and that worked. Had a estimated 90 centimetre pike plus on that, which was really cool. So Wolf Creek 25 centimetre shads, they definitely worked when you could find them. There's a theme here. Also in the shallower water, was throwing this, the old Mirus mouse. This is used a lot on these Dutch waters. So we're throwing that. Didn't have anything on it, but again, it wasn't the bait. We just weren't covering the right fish. So that got thrown, particularly over the shallow water. These are really interesting because you can get them in different depths, different sinking depths. If you get the handmade ones, they're really, really cool. So that's a good bait to use. Zander took everything. Didn't really have to worry about them. Shads of different sizes, all sorts of things. But because we're fishing the rocky, shallow areas, we spent a lot of time throwing these different types of chatterbaits. So different weights. That's a 28. That's a 14, but throwing them in 21s as well. So different colours of chatterbaits, different types of chatterbaits. If anyone's interested, I always dress these with a little 7 centimetre Wolf Creek shad. It's perfect size for dressing the chatterbait. So that's really cool. That one's lost its colour in the water. Wow, it shows you what's going on out there. So yeah, I always dress the chatterbaits. You don't have to fish them dressed, you can fish them undressed. I don't have one with me, but I always feel it adds a little bit of attraction to have the paddle tail on as well. It's all down to confidence. I'm not right, it's just what I feel confident doing. So they were really good. Something that doesn't get thrown an awful lot in the UK is spinnerbaits. So we were experimenting with these as well. They kind of worked and they kind of didn't. Very good in warm conditions. I've thrown a lot of spinnerbaits for musky fishing in America, but you're fishing for very active fish. And obviously it's July here, so you're fishing for very active fish. So if you're, I wouldn't be targeting pike in the warmer weather in the UK, but for the perch, for example, these are really good. I mean, these are big, but the big perch will attack them. So spinnerbaits we use quite extensively as well, and I know the locals use these a lot, and that's why we went to those 2 tackle shops, just to find some spinnerbaits really. So they're really good, and it's really nice doing something different, throwing those. And also something that I found was really effective was fishing really negatively with the old FFS Thang. So that really worked. I caught perch and zander on that, and when they wanted it, they thumped it. That was really, really cool. So that's some of the baits we used in some of the colours, but obviously I've not told you everything because you have to keep some things under wraps. So that, if you're interested, that gives you a bit of an idea of what we were generally using, but not everything. So that wraps up the World Predator Classics section of the podcast. I'd like to thank Dan Brackley. He was brilliant all week. We've been using his boat, he's been driving me around, and we've just been having really good fun, which is the most important thing. We've met old friends, met new friends. Obviously we teamed up with people that we knew before we came over. It was great to see Dan Salida and Mikhail. They came 4th overall, which was an amazing result. Guy I know, and you guys will notice from some social media productions, is Hellevoetsluis. I'm sure I said his surname wrong there, but CWC, they came 3rd, and his boat partner Lex, so that was really cool. The guys that won it last year came 2nd, which was an incredible result, and they came 2nd by 1 point to the winners. So you can see the standard of angler they've got over here is incredible. But what an event. Am I going to fish it again? I'd love to. It's got my brain worrying about how can I finance a really big boat with all the stuff you need. I think I might have to sell a kidney, remortgage the house. Yeah, it's only fishing, isn't it? We only live once, so we may do something really daft over the next few years because it is just so addictive. How does it compare to kayak fishing? But each to their own. Organisation of the event was phenomenal. It was brutal conditions, and the safety was the main consideration of the organisers, and they just organised it beautifully each day, and they listened to feedback from us. So for example, on the second day on the start, it was quite lumpy because all the boats going out created this massive amount of wash, compounded with the wind. It was very difficult turning the boats into the wind because you just got flooded with the water. So they listened to what we were saying, and that's why on the third day they did the rolling start from the marina with all the different boats going out. So that was really good. So what they did on the third day, they actually put the marina into blocks. They did a random draw at the beginning of the captain's briefing. So there were 8 blocks, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Random draw, and then a block was getting released one at a time, and the boats were just going out steadily from the marina, and then once you were 100 metres plus away, you could then go. I think it took 18 minutes to get 101 boats out, so that's pretty good, and of course it was safe. They reduced the fishing day because of the storms that were coming in the afternoon, and it was absolutely fantastic. So the whole event was amazing, absolutely loved it. Shattered, so we've had a few hours extra kip today to try and catch up. Driving home tomorrow, and it's just a phenomenal, but it's so addictive. It's what fishing's all about, so you could try to compare it to UK fishing, it's incomparable. If anybody wants some extra information, get in touch with me, I'll try and help. But that was it. So that was our World Predator Classic experience. Okay, second part of the podcast, we're going to have something completely different. We are going to have a section now with Emma Sarah Evans, who is the LAS bank competition organiser. So let's switch straight to Emma. So as if by magic, I'm back from Holland, and now I'm back in the podcast studio, and I've got Emma Sarah Evans with me. So Emma, thank you for taking the time out to join me.
No problem.
We've had a bit of tech issues, but we've solved it.
We have, yeah. Just a few.
You're better than Ian Crook, right? He tried 3 laptops before he could actually get his work in. We've only used an iPad and a phone, but we won't tell people what we did.
No,
so,
we won't tell anyone.
No, you won't tell them. Right, before we get into the LAS stuff, let's just go back in time.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're only 21, so I'll just go back a few years. And I always ask people this. I say, how did you get into fishing? So how did you start fishing?
So me and my sister used to go fishing with my father when I was about 6. My sister was about 9. And he used to take us tench and carp fishing. We used to get really bored because it was boring and it was cold and we didn't have bivvies and we had to sit on the grass in the cold with no food for hours on end, and we had to carry all of his tackle. He was quite mean, really, in a lot of respects.
So you were slaves, basically.
Slaves, yes. And then he took us to the Slough Canal along the A4, and I caught my first pike, and that was it. I was in love. Because pike, that was it for me. Pike. My sister was the same. And back then we cooked them on, we'd catch them on MEP spinners, or we'd live bait. I mean, obviously that's a bit frowned upon nowadays, but We never dead baited back then. It was always Ricky the Roach. Off he went, swimming around the pond. And when he started to shake, you knew there was a pike about to strike. So yeah, and we hooked this massive pike down the A4 Slough Canal. And I think it was Mum. And she threw the hook, and she was massive. And at the time, my sister dropped the rod. My dad went mental because obviously expensive rod. We lost her, but I'll always remember her. And I think that got me into pike fishing and predator fishing. We used to catch tons of perch on little mep spinners and stuff. So we always wanted to go down there, and we used to drive him absolutely insane. Can we go pike fishing? Can we go pike fishing? Because we hate tench and carp fishing. And we went for years and years and years. And then I sort of, I went to school, and I spent quite a few years in Australia and New Zealand, and I sea fished over there. I caught a hammerhead shark.
Oh, nice.
Didn't mean to. We were king fishing, but we hooked this hammerhead shark. So we got it to the boat and tagged it. I went on a fishing tour. I caught a 46-pound tuna. To which the skipper said was a tiddler, and threw it back in. Nearly took me off the boat, but that's fine. And we caught lots of flatheads, tailors. We had loads of fun. And then I came back, got married, had some children. The fishing kind of went to the sidelines because my son's got autism and other issues. So I spent a lot of time just being at home with him. And then my dad died, and my love for fishing kind of went with him a little bit. And I picked it up back in the pandemic because there was nothing else to do. And I just, I've been doing it ever since then. So I've always fished. I've just had a few years off here and there.
That's interesting, isn't it? So life gets in the way for some people, doesn't it? For a lot of people, I think they get into fishing when they're younger, and then other things come along, and then they will get back into it at some point later on, which is really nice. Oh, cool.
I love it. I love it. I see the best sunsets, the best sunrises. I love all the wildlife. I love the smell of the river. The smell of the river just does me. And just that tranquility. There's no one there. There's no one in your ear. There's no phones. There's nothing. It's just you, your rod, your fish, your nature. That's it. And you're there, and even if I don't catch something, I still have a good day. So for me, that's where I find my happy place, I suppose, my peace.
I think you're right. It's not about the fishing. It's not about the catching, is it? A lot of the time.
No.
It's just about the process and being out there, and just sometimes just looking around and seeing what's going on with stuff we don't see when we're stuck in a normal room.
Well, I have a very busy lifestyle. I'm a head chef in a special needs school, and I have to blend meals as well for swallowing difficulties and things like that. So my job is quite convoluted. And I've been a chef for a long time, and I've worked in pubs, and I've got into schools in the last sort of 10 years because of my son probably. But I have a very, very busy life. So for me, when I go fishing, it's like, oh, that's it. There's nothing going on. There's no fans. So I hate fans because I have to have loads of them on at work. I hate fans in cars, anywhere, toilets. I hate fans. So it's just nice to have that just peace. Yeah. So that's why I love fishing. Cool. Different for everyone, I suppose.
Yeah, and isn't it interesting that as a child you weren't into the carp and tench fishing? I suppose it's just waiting for a fish to pick up the bait, whereas you actually wanted to do something that was active.
Yeah, well, my dad would sit there for days and come home and say he caught nothing. I was just like, what's the point? I don't. You spent all this money on this bait. You've thrown it in the water. You might as well just chucked it in the bin, and you've caught nothing.
Yeah.
So. Everyone's different. I mean, my work colleague's a carper, and so the pair of us, we're always arguing over like predator fishing and carping, and I'm always giving him shit and calling him a miserable old git, and so
mud pig fishing, that's all it is.
Yeah. Oh, you've named that one, have you? How many times have you caught that?
It's like fishing for someone's pet goldfish. It's like
it is. They are overgrown. To me, they're overgrown goldfish. I might upset people saying that, but for me, that's what they are.
Jim Starr, if you're watching.
No, sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sure they're lovely. You know, you probably think pike are awful fish to catch. You know, you're allowed.
Right. Yeah. No, that's cool. Okay, so you've got back into your fishing, which is great, and you found yourself a role on the LAS committee. So you've decided to just jump in with 2 feet, basically. So can you tell us what that role is, please?
Yes, so I'm the bank events organiser for the LAS. I only joined recently after a trip with Ian Crook to Wales. And we had such a good day, like good time there. And he sort of said it one night when we were having dinner. I went, "Oh, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. Not a problem." Had nothing to do with the couple of wines that I had. But yeah.
Basically, Crookie used alcohol to persuade you. That's unbelievable. Ian Crook, you dastardly man. I'll have a word with him when I see him. Yeah.
My daughter's when he comes up on my phone and she's like, "Oh, it's the criminal," because his name's Crook. I'm like, "Jessica, he's not a criminal." That's his actual name. But no, I mean, listen, I wanted to see the LAS sort of grow, and you know, it's had some rough times lately, and I want to see it grow and improve, because there's some good guys on there. You know, there's Eric. Yeah. He's a great guy, and Ian's got the driest sense of humour I've ever met. But he's a funny dude, and I get on with him. I get on so well with him, and everyone's nice there. Jamie, all of them are lovely, and we all want the same thing. And you know, that's just to lure fish and get people together and get us all interested in the same thing. So, you know, their ethos is good.
Yeah, that's another part of the sport, isn't it? I mean, we have our solitude part, but also this is one of the reasons I like doing the comps. Is it's the nice camaraderie that you build up. And I have made lots of new friends over the last 2 years from different nationalities by fishing in the UK and now fishing more of these comps abroad. We have a common interest. So you can just go and talk to loads of different people about fishing and they get it. And it's like, this is really cool. And I think that's one of the reasons why we do these comps as well. Right. So Emma, you've started running some comps. I know you've got 1 or 2 things in the pipeline. Can you explain to us what they are?
Yes, so we have a social event coming up in August at Farmore at the Thames. There'll be a barbecue. I'm trying to see, we're just trying to finalise the details on pricing and things like that at this point. So I don't want to sort of say and then it's not correct. But that'll be coming up at the end of August. The date will be around the 23rd. I think it's the 23rd or the 25th of August. So look out for that on the website. We will be putting a post together for that.
Is that the Saturday or the Sunday?
It's the Sunday.
So that's going to be the 25th, yeah.
Yeah, 25th, yeah. So that's coming up. That's just a social for chub fishing. And you know, obviously with chub fishing you might catch perch and you might catch pike, so obviously please, you know, be aware that you would have to bring things for that. And then we have another this will be a competition in November on the 23rd, and that is on the Nene Valley, at the Ringstead Nene Valley. I've spoken to the guys up there. There's, you know, it sounds amazing. There's about 35 spaces for cars. They have 39 jetties. They look after their swims, so you're not going to have to go jungle, you know, down banks like this. It all seems quite flat and nice. They have a lovely clubhouse there, so obviously, you know, we can put something together there for people afterwards. So that's really good. And they're keen to build a relationship with the LAS going forward.
Is that on the River Nene?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Ringstead it is. So we'll have all the backwater. We'll have the River Nene as well, and then there's a weir as well, and I think there's a mill as well. There's a good head of perch in there, chub, pike, and we sort of chose November because they'd all probably, you know, be on it at that point for lures, judging by last year's November. So
yeah, that's very picturesque around there. It's very nice.
It is very picturesque, you know, and it's beautiful, the Nene Valley. So, you know, and I've fished the Nene a couple of times. It's a really nice river to fish. I'm going to go down and actually do a recce at this place before November. So I will go down and have a look at the route and everything, and you know, sort of get a real sort of feel for it, so I can give lots more information to the people that maybe want to attend.
Cool. And it's both events. Is that via the LAS website? How they need to contact you?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes,
Cool.
and similarly, as I said on the AGM that has just happened on Saturday, you know, I would encourage members to actually contact me if they have a stretch of river or a place that they think I should look at, because it is about the members as much as, you know, I can organise things. I still need members' input. Because I don't, you know, for me, if somebody thinks, oh, well, I'd really love it if they'd use this stretch of river, well, then just contact me and I can have a look at it and see if it's feasible. And then we can go from there.
Oh, that's really cool, because this sort of thing needs people who, like yourself, who are ultra keen to take on advice from other people and suggestions rather than just go there. That's really cool.
Well, it's about your fishing experience as well. You know, it's not just about me and the club. It's about your fishing experience. And if your fishing experience is good, then you're going to come back, aren't you? And you're going to do another competition. So, you know, I would rather have input than none at all.
Oh, that's fantastic. And not wishing to sort of be a little bit sexist, but it's great that to have female anglers involved, because when I go abroad, when I go to Sweden, there's so many female anglers and there's so many families. But over here, there just seems to be a lack of female anglers. And I think that's something else that we need to sort of proactively push as well. It's just a bit frustrating that it's still seen as a bit of an old man's sport in some parts of the country.
It is. I mean, mostly, I've joined a few clubs. So over the years, I mean, I'm a member of the Birmingham Anglers Association. I'm a member of the MPFA. You know, I've been a member of the LAA. I've been a member of Tame Angling Club. I've been a member of lots of different clubs, and I would say out of all of them, they've all been quite good. But I have had the odd club, and I won't mention their name, but there was one particular club where they were incredibly sexist and told me that as a female angler, I shouldn't even be doing it.
Wow.
Yeah. So I just, you know, I looked at the state of him. He looked like he hadn't washed in about 4 years. And to me, I just thought to myself, well, that is your opinion and that's fine, but you're not going to put me off.
Good. Yeah.
You know, and more often than not, I will go to a match and catch the biggest pike anyway. So you can all sod off. You know.
It's unbelievable. You're a very positive role model, and we need to push this more and more. I feel. I mean, going back to Holland, where I just come back from, I met 2 female anglers that were competing together, and they are like they are one of the top European lure anglers, regardless of gender. And this was really cool. That's how it should be. So I think in this country, we just need to get away from this kind of, I don't know what it is, this very strange image that we have in society of angling. It just seems
I think, you know, now with lure angling, it's different. I think years ago, because it was very much a carp world, and it was, and you had lots of syndicates and lots of lakes where, you know, the pike were a problem and they kill them, and that did go on. You know, I think now with lure angling, lots more women are getting involved with it. But I think in the carping world, that's even worse. And I think that is just old-fashioned views, in all honesty. I don't think the majority of people feel that way, but I think there's still that stigma. And it's silly because girls should get out and fish. You know, it's good fun. And
I'll tell you a little tale now, and I'll try and say it the right way. A friend of mine who lure fishes a lot, very attractive female, used to carp fish a little bit, and she was quite good at it and got a sponsorship deal. But they wanted to take pictures of her holding her carp in her t-shirt, wet t-shirt.
Yeah,
it's
you
like,
see that's I mean, you know, that's not on.
It's pathetic. It's like, really? And it's like we've got to get away from that crap. And I'd like to think we are, but I do think in this country we're very, very behind the rest of Europe when it comes to promoting women in fishing. We really are. It needs to pick up.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I've had some issues with people. I mean, I had a guy when I was doing a match up in Lincolnshire, and he went, "Oh God, a woman fishing! Surely you should be in the kitchen." And so I shouted back at him, "Well, you're about 10 foot in the grave, so why don't you fuck off?" You know, because I'm sorry, go away. He'd said something about 4 times and I'd lost it at that point. I'd literally lost it. And Will looked at me and he was just like, "Oh, she's off. That's it. You've pissed her off now." Because it's just, you know, don't keep saying I should be in the kitchen. I'm in the kitchen most days, thanks, actually. But, you know, in my spare time,
Yeah.
I go out fishing. But I don't get it a lot. I would say it's just the odd few cantankerous, set in their ways people. But that's just life. You're going to get that everywhere, aren't you? So.
Yeah, hopefully it's changing. It needs to. But we weren't going to discuss that. I don't know how it popped into my head, but I think it's good that you're a role model for several reasons, which is really cool for the LAS. And so
yeah, I think women should get involved. It's it's silly. It's really silly. I mean, don't get me wrong. Walking for miles on end on uneven ground is hard. I did it in Ireland. I thought I was going to die. I got back and I was like, oh my God, my legs. I couldn't feel my legs, anything. And but I had a great day. I didn't catch anything, but I had a great day anyway. But it is a lot of walking if you're doing lure fishing, and you've got to be quite fit and you've got to be up for it. And all that stuff you've got to carry. I keep minimalising. So how much more can I lose? So it's difficult, but it's good fun and it's worth it when you get that one that you're after. It's worth it. So worth it.
It is. It's a well used phrase, but the tug is the drug. It's fantastic, isn't it? It's kind of like, all day for that one hit. Oh bloody hell! I don't know if you fishing top water. I love chub fishing top water. It's just if I catch one on a top water, it's made it for me. I just love the way they come flying out of the cover and smashing it. It's like
little rivers you want to get on. It's quite interesting. My mum used to live on the River Wye and it used to back into the garden. So I forgot to tell you that bit in my fishing story. So when I lived with my mum from the age of 17 to 24, I used to fish for the trout in the river with a cane rod and a little hook. No float, nothing, just a little hook and a cane rod and some bread. They used to take the bread off the surface. And I stalked this 8-pound trout for like ages. And I caught it in the end and I got it and I put it in my keep net and I left it there for hours because I just kept looking at it.
That's a huge trout.
Yeah. I was so proud of it because it was just, I'd been stalking it and I nearly hooked it about 5 times. And because I could just do it off the back of the garden, I was just like, it was amazing. I hated it when she sold that house. She moved to Spain. Like, why? You should have kept the river.
How selfish.
Yeah, sod the pool, no fish in the pool.
Yeah, no. How selfish. Right, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Stay on the line. We're going to end the podcast. And then if you're up for it, we'll have you back on in a few weeks' time.
Yeah.
And maybe after the first event, you can give us the results. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be...
push the second event again.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool.
No problem.
Right, stay on the line. But thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Not a problem. You're very welcome.